Down.
Yes, everyone is here. Yes, this time our numbers have doubled. Welcome to episode 2 of what we are officially calling bread bag bullshittery. Because I was like, I want to make it kind of reenacting related, but I said before we want to always talk about reenacting stuff. But I like it. So we have 2 guests today. Also, we forgot to also introduce our units and everything, so I'm going to start off. My name is Jimmy Fortner, or now formerly known on the YouTubes as Axis Reenactor. I am a Grenadier for the 275th Volksgrenadier Division. We mainly do late to ultra late war. Some events we do, like the Herndon Forest up in Tennessee. That's a good event, and Fort Custer in Michigan. Even though I live in Kansas. Marcus, you go next.
All right, I'm Marcus Steinheim. I do 6th SS Nord. As my primary impression, I'm actually a Sturmmann in 6th SS. That's the equivalent of a specialist or a corporal. We're in the 1st SS Mountain Division, so we get all kinds of cool stuff. And we mainly do Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania events. We were actually the only German unit to fight within the Arctic Circle during the war. And we were actually the one of the very few SS divisions to never have been accused of any war crimes either.
Okay. Which one? Connor, you go next, because I'm in charge.
Right, I am Hermann Seyfried. I am 6th SS Nord. I am a rifleman and a machine gunner, depending on the day.
Do you have a machine
And
gun?
that's about it.
Do you have a machine gun, though?
I don't have a machine gun, but I use one of our units.
Oh,
Our unit has a couple.
A couple.
Okay, so these 2 kids are butt buddies. Alright, Arthur, you next.
Alright, well, I'm Arthur, and I'm in the 5th SS Viking, and I don't really know what I do yet, since I'm a minor, so...
This kid's just
I can't
starting,
really...
so it's nice to get a fresh, non-filtered aspect without the biases forming in. At least most biases, because he is SS, so he's already made a choice.
Oh, okay, I see how it is.
I'm just saying, like, biases
What
start...
do you mean? I also do hair, and I'm working on an FJ impression. Come on.
But you mostly
Hey man,
do
I'm
SS.
trying to
I'm
do
just
Spanish
saying-
too, division.
I'm just saying, you
Yeah.
guys made a choice on something for your main impression, and that is SS. So a bias is already starting. Like, if it's like an event, like, oh, you can go here or SS if you want. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're most likely going to
Well,
choose SS.
the hair unit that he wanted to do, there was no hair units that did that around him, and so that was really his only choice. Just
Yeah.
because he's also a minor.
That's true.
No, there was a hair unit, but there were a bunch of, like, stitch Nazis that wanted me to use original equipment, and I didn't want to take original equipment in the field, and I couldn't really afford it either.
We discussed that in the last episode, so we will briefly touch upon it. My unit advocates for certain usage of original equipment. It all depends on the item, honestly. Okay, so to start off today, we're going to talk about a controversial topic, and that is a different type of SS, and by that I mean special snowflakes. Marcus,
No, I think there's a lot of special snowflakes in the hair as well.
well, yeah, but okay, this tunic, I am wearing Lost Battalion's M44. It is approved by my unit commander since we anything post January of 1945, we are allowed to wear these ones. And usually, when we do, we all wear them because the M44s were given like in company size, like stocks. So it's like, oh, he gets it, everyone gets it. So, in that case, I would say not as snowflakey, but I understand. Also, this is the only tunic I have that's fully decked out right now because I lost my M40 recently, and I'm still waiting to get my other one from someone. It's been about a month since I bought it, and he's been Some stuff has come up. Who was that? Whose phone vibrated?
It might have been mine. I'm sorry.
You better put that on Do Not Disturb before I bean your ass.
Sir, terrible
Okay.
human being.
But
Snowflakes.
well,
Wait a minute,
touching
I'm
on the snowflakey thing, since I do hair and SS, here's a couple tips. So what I'm wearing is actually an HBT M37. Yes, they did exist. Yes, I do have a couple of pictures of that.
Okay.
They weren't super common, but it was the only HBT that I actually had at the moment, so I chose to wear it. Now, early on in the war, when the 6th SS Division was sent to Finland as the Kampfgruppe Nord, SS Kampfgruppe Nord, they would have had M37s. They would have had early war the M32 side cap or M34 side cap, things like that. Plus, I also do an early war SSBT Germania impression. So this would have been kind of a snowflakey thing, but it still would have existed. But a lot of things that hair and SS reenactors do pertain to snowflakes, and this is coming from a Gebirgsjäger standpoint, is... Oh, Arthur left.
We lost Arthur.
Snowflakey undershirts and snowflakey sweaters. So allow me to grab my examples.
Also, disclaimer: we're wearing what we're wearing because we want to. Like,
Yeah,
wanted
this
to throw
isn't like anything specific.
Yeah, we just
Like
wanted
70 here, so I'm not wearing a tunic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, plus I'm also wearing my Africa Core shorts because it's hot.
I'm wearing
So-
my wools because my room is the first room that gets touched by the AC, so it's the coldest.
What's AC? All right, so a lot of people like to wear the Trachten shirt, the Bavarian civilian shirt. Now, this is only acceptable for Gebirgsjägers, simply because they're warmer than the average service shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're up in the mountains, nobody's going to tell you that you're out of regulation, because they'll get kicked off of the mountain. This will keep you warmer, and I do actually keep this in my ruck at events. In case I get cold, usually I'll throw it on at night. Because one of the things that you should do is, at night, take off whatever shirt you were wearing under your tunic all day, and put on a dry one. So this is usually a dry one that I have in my rucksack. And further regarding the Gebirgsjäger thing, but this could also be used more for regular Lancers and I guess Jaegers as well. The ugly civilian sweater.
Ew, that is ugly.
Gross.
I know. But it's extremely warm, and for, again, events at night that I don't necessarily want to bring out my Winteranzug, I will put this on under my tunic. Or if it's super, super cold at an event and my Winteranzug is just too freaking bulky to wear, I'll throw this on.
This is my civilian sweater, which I think is pretty period looking. It's
Nice.
Got a weird embroidered pattern. And I get away with this because, for one, there was, from information I've gotten from forums and help pages at times, there were what they called clothes drives to give civilian gear, like gloves and sweaters and scarves, sometimes, to German soldiers during the winter. Now, the one Marcus has pulled up is an issued V-neck sweater. The one I had was civilian. Also, the Germans had parcels sometimes to get like items like rations, snacks, stuff like that, and sometimes gloves, socks, scarves, stuff like that that could fit in the box. It wouldn't be uncommon to see a German with civilian style gear like that one. But in the essence of snowflakes, some things I have seen a lot, which this is coming from a here standpoint, who's delved into certain research on the Waffen-SS, is there are plenty of times I see specifically enlisted men, and sometimes being around junior NCO to enlisted men rank, wearing SS collar tabs on Dot 44 uniforms or shoulder boards, when in all reality the most those guys had, if they weren't like certain Eastern Front units, had just the sleeve eagle and sometimes rank. But like senior officers, there have been pictures, sometimes on occasion, they would sew on rank tabs and shoulder boards. But those never came stock. It was never like, oh, you're an officer, take this. It's a special one. It has shoulder boards, slip-ons, and loops and buttons, and it has your rank insignia sewn on it. That just
Right, and
from what I've seen.
and the other
pictures.
thing is, a lot of guys personally modified their Dot 44s to have shoulder boards or collar tabs. Because, I mean, and when I had my Dot 44 set up, I just took extra material and I made shoulder board loops.
Mm-hmm. But
Since I'm also German, I guess it would make a little bit of sense if I did that. Now, also regarding being a special snowflake and civilian items, I pulled out some of my other civilian items. Actual Austrian mountain socks. My dad got these in his trip to Austria in the 1960s. They're the same kind of socks that you'd see in, Austrian mountains. So I usually wear these to events. As World War II History and Reenacting said on his channel, you have your issued socks, which I rolled up. You have your issued socks, which you wear during the day, and then you change into these at night. And that's actually what I do. I pretty much have my nighttime stuff, which is more civilian-esque, and then I have my daytime stuff, which is military.
mm-hmm.
Another thing that I use is these hand-knitted footies. These were actually knitted to me by a woman. Her name is Emscloud, and she survived the war. She actually knitted these for her family during the war as well. Scarves. This one's actually
that's
German
really
scarf.
mean, man. He's like hammered on his old. Make some fucking pooties for me. Because I said so. I used to make them for my family members. You're gonna make some more today, woman.
No, I didn't do that. She's a very, very sweet lady.
Denial.
I wasn't going to do that. Plus, her husband actually fought in the U.S. Army during Vietnam. So this is a regular German scarf. I don't know if this one's World War II or if it's Bundeswehr, but it doesn't really matter. As far as other civilian items that are kind of snowflakey, I have my shaving kit here. I would say shaving brushes can be kind of snowflakey at times. If they're modern and they have like an ivory handle and whatnot. If you were a private or a corporal, chances are you wouldn't have one with like an ivory handle unless your father or grandfather gave you one. Much like my original razor here. This is my great-grandfather's and it's got an ivory handle.
That's cool.
So I wouldn't have bought it myself, but that's something that like your grandfather would give you.
You seem to
Same
be
with uniform brushes, suede brushes,
Yeah.
things like that. You're going to want to try and find something that would be more on like a lower end, something that would be more affordable to the average Lancier.
Yeah. Well, with the direction you're turning, it seems to be a little bit more, what does it say? A little bit more detailed than what I was thinking of. Stuff I'm thinking of are like guys wearing like, you see like 3 guys wearing a bronze combat clasp, or someone who's like Oberschütze, decked out in medals.
I'm an Oberschütz and I have no medals.
I'm a grenadier and I have no medals.
I'm a Sturmmann and I have a couple of medals, but they were ones that were awarded to me, and I actually don't even wear all the ones that I was awarded.
Well, what medals do you usually wear?
I usually wear my I usually wear two ribbons, which is the EK2 and the Ostfront ribbon, and then I have an assault badge, which also depends on the job that I'm doing that day, which would be either general assault badge or infantry assault badge, and then I have my Iron Cross first class that sometimes I'll wear, but if more than 2 people per dozen that I can like see have theirs, then I take mine off.
Okay. Yeah, I was at this one event, and this guy, I think he was here. No, he was SS. He had full set of .44 parka set. He had a golden combat clasp.
Oh my god.
Not only that, he had a silver Hitler bunker wound badge. The specific one that says the July 1944 one, during that attempted assassination on him.
Okay.
Specific for me. Like, if you... No. I wouldn't wear the bunker badge, like, ever.
The what?
And I wouldn't even dare to even purchase a gold combat class.
I probably will never see a combat clasp on my uniform. Mainly
I was a bronze combat clasp, but it stays in a picture frame on my dresser. I refuse to wear it. The only time that I'll wear like a Knight's Cross, combat clasp, or anything like that, any of the higher awards, is if I'm doing a movie production and it calls for it as like an officer or something like that, or if I'm doing a first-person impression, which I'm going to work on a first-person impression of Remy Schreinen, who is a Flemish volunteer for the 6th SS Sturm Brigade.
Mm-hmm.
And some people say kind of like him. I guess I'll send Jimmy a picture, and we'll see.
Editing.
You want me to edit it over your face again?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But regarding being at an event and seeing someone wearing stuff that they shouldn't be, I saw someone wearing a Knight's Cross and a close combat clasp in gold.
Fuck.
And I said, well, you know that there were only 98 men who were ever awarded the Knight's Cross and close combat clasp in gold. He goes, well, how do you know that? How do you know I'm not doing a first-person impression? Now, I didn't have this with me, but I had a picture of it on my phone. And I said, if you give me a name, and I go in here, and you don't have it right, you are being a disrespectful piece of shit. So, of the 98 men, and there are only 98,
Oh my god.
there were none added afterwards because this was published in 2007. No more were added.
Yeah, that
Not
makes
since,
sense.
So, yeah. I have all 98 right here. If you aren't doing a first-person impression, don't do that.
Again, with awards, my opinions on unit-based awards are, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter as per se what you earn in a unit, because remember, we portray a military that has been decommissioned indefinitely for over 70 years. If you wear medals on your uniform, it should be to formulate that impression, not because you quote-unquote earned them. Like, it would look pretty strange for, let's say, a lieutenant in the Wehrmacht to be bare-chested and still be a lieutenant. In my opinion, at least some sort of decoration should be seen there because they have
Right.
that rank. I mean,
And another thing, think about, with what Jimmy said, think about your impression, because there is one person in our unit, and we're fixing this,
Is it who I
but he
think it
used
is?
to wear... What?
is it who I think it is?
No. He used to wear an M43 tunic,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just a Schütze and he had an Iron Cross ribbon, or a Eastern Front ribbon. If you were on the Eastern Front in 41, and since he portrays Nord, and you have an M43 tunic, that means that you have been in the war for 4 years by the time that they got M43 tunics. That means that you either done fucked up, or you were just a terrible soldier, or you're a farbass.
Wait, to have an M43 tunic with the Ostfront ribbon?
And
What?
nothing.
To have
Yeah, he had nothing else. It was the only insignia he had were, collar tab, shoulder boards, eagle, Ostfront ribbon.
That's a little strange, yeah, because, I mean, they did sometimes resupply tunics because, like, oh shit, it's breaking, and they'd be like, oh, here's another
Right.
one.
Well, and Nord didn't get very much resupply.
Yeah, so,
So seeing an M42 or M43 tunic in Nord, it had to have been when they were resupplied for Operation Nordwind, so that would be 1944.
and just to have just that would be a little...
Then again, most events in 1944 anyway.
That's true, but just seeing it by, like, certain medals, seeing it just by itself are good, like, are okay. Like, the Black Wound Badge. Like, almost everyone had it.
Oh yeah, there were a lot. Now, I haven't earned one through my unit. There's another unit, the 2nd SS. Well, that I used to be in contact with. I think they moved to 9th SS now. They wanted to award me with one, and I mean, obviously, like, I'm not going to refuse it because that's bad luck. But to refuse a gift.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to wear it unless I earn it through my unit.
Yes.
I mean, unless, there's something specific that I'm going to be doing
Mm-hmm.
where it's, needed, much like, I'm going to have a pipe that I carry with me in my tunic. I don't smoke, and the only time that I would ever, like, use it to smoke is if there was a specific part in, like, a movie or, something like that that would require me to.
Connor, you've been pretty quiet. What are some snowflakey examples you can think of?
You've been pretty quiet, Connor. Let's hear your thoughts.
Well, for awards, like, for my tunic, I have no awards on it because I'm, A, relatively new to the hobby, B, I haven't earned anything. I like to earn anything that I put on my uniform to the best of my ability. So, eventually, I'm going to be awarded a Edelweiss because I...
Damn it. Editing.
Jimmy's back.
I will edit that out. We're still going. Go back to Edelweiss.
All right.
Okay.
So in our unit, we're making a regulation that you have to do. Is it 3 pikes?
It's not a regulation, and it's whoever deserves it the most. We're still trying to figure that out, myself and Christian, so ignore that point, but the way that we do it in our unit is you have 2 options to earn your Edelweiss for the 6th SS, the Birds Division. We live in an area where it resembles Finland very, very well. So it's heavily forested, not quite mountains, but very, very tough terrain and very, very tough hills. Yeah. So we do hikes through this area of Ohio. So there's 2 ways. Do a certain amount of hikes, and the hike commanders, which is myself, my father, the unit commander, and my cousin who has been doing hikes with me. I do them every weekend for fun. Or go to 3 events as 6th SS Nord, and on your 3rd event you'll be awarded a Edelweiss and a cuff title, which we're also in a bit of a hoopla about whether or not the Nord cuff title should be worn, as it's barbed or not barbed, things like that. So we're currently undergoing an entire revamp from the inside out. regarding our authenticity, and it's well deserved. We do need this. So,
Marcus, would you consider yourself like a co-unit commander?
No, I'm a squad leader.
Okay.
However, since our authenticity advisor is in Florida at the moment, I'm like a secondary or tertiary, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
authenticity advisor. I'm higher up than, some of the other guys, but I'm not really a unit commander at all, and I don't want to be.
What about Dylan? I mean, he has more subscribers than you on iFunny, so.
I didn't know subscriber count dictated rank.
I don't know, man. Dylan could just like shit on you on his iFunny account, and then everyone would be like, "Ugh, fuck Marcus, we fucking hate him."
I don't care. Farfest did that already.
Yeah. The way my unit works is we're what we would call a pretty high authenticity unit. I'll explain it after I explain how our unit functions. Really, there's one guy who is the unit commander, and there's another guy who is the co-commander. He's pretty cool. Since our unit commander isn't really that much in contact on Facebook, usually we go to the co-one on Facebook for questions, since he pretty much knows the entire... So that's the co-unit commander that recruited me into the 275th, because before I was in this other unit, the 352nd, and actually that was the unit where I was like, well, goon badge is very common, I want to wear the goon badge. But this unit's like, nah, not yet. I'm like, okay. Anyways, this tangent. The way it works with us is if, let's say, well, my unit impression, since I have an Asian look, I portray an OS battalion soldier, or what they call a Hiwi, that was folded into from the Eastern Front to the 275th. Now, the unit says, oh, we're all here. But if certain people have certain, evidence, like, look, there's evidence of this happening, da-da-da, I want to portray this now in the unit. It's kind of like a group consensus of, yeah, he should, or no, he should just stay here. And that was kind of with me. It's like, look, I did research on the 275th. There's about 1,560 guys that were Kiwis. They were from OS battalions that were conscripted that were folded into the 275th. And since, I look the part, I think it would be cool if I did that. And everyone's like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, da-da-da. And that's also how we have two transfers. We have my friend Nathan. He's actually a Kriegsmarine transfer, which means he was a coastal artillery Kriegsmarine. And then he was transferred into here infantry. And then we have another guy who was Luftwaffe Field Division, and we all know, after, I think D-Day, they all started getting transferred into just regular here as well. So he has certain things like some of the things you'd see by late war, which is simply a Luftwaffe belt buckle, the Luftwaffe sold book, and the field cap, but the rest of it's here shit. I think he might have a Fliegerboost with here insignia on it though, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, our unit's kind of everyone's equal, except for the authenticity standards. I asked the co-commander, I was like, hey, are these greatcoats accepted into your unit? And he's like, yeah, they are. But these ones aren't. I was like, okay. Stuff like that. So if it's I want to do this for the unit, and here's evidence to support it, stuff like that is kind of a group consensus thing, where everyone's equal. Even our unit has 10 guys, and our highest rank is either an Oberger fighter or sometimes a Feldwebel, depending on how many people show up. Which is, I like it.
Okay. Yeah, our highest rank is, I think, a Scharführer, but that would be my dad, and that's just because that's what was on the tunic that he bought.
He's old, too.
Well, yeah, he's also 60, so, he doesn't need anyone telling him what to do.
Yeah, what day is it?
No, he looks good for 60. But, so yeah, our unit, pretty much we stick to like earlier war stuff because we weren't resupplied very heavily when we were in northern Finland.
Because you guys were
Lapland.
gay.
Yeah, like for instance, I wear I'm in the 6th SS Nord, and I wear an M42 blouse, so I would have been a later transfer in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have originally been with the unit when they were formed. I would have been later transferred.
You're a replacement.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one of the things that we're going to do is we're actually going to make on our website like a scrapbook, like some of us who have been there since the beginning, us in civilian clothes with climbing axes, or climbing gear, ice axes, and civilian caps.
Yeah.
And like we were part of the since they were formed from Bavarians and Northern Austrians. We were part of the Bavarian Ski Club, Mountain Climbing Club, Hiking Club, whatever. We're going to do more research into that, so that's kind of a work in progress. But we're going to do, civilian pics, like, we were all friends before the war, and then this is us, getting sent to Finland with the 6th SS Infantry Division.
It's like the new generation war.
What?
It's like the new generation war. So sad. Like this video if you cry every time. Marcus gets sent to a gulag and spends most of his days there until he's left out because the Soviets were like, we don't care about you anymore. You're too skinny and frail to work on machining
You're
factory.
annoying the shit out of us. Leave.
Yeah, that's what they'd say about me. We don't care about your damn mountain flower.
Alright, well, we're again about hitting the hour mark, so I think that's about a good place to cut it. Yeah, basically the way it's going to format is Marcus and I, 90% of the time, we'll both be here. Sometimes we'll have other people. Like Connor was here, and Arthur was here for
Like
a
2
bit.
minutes.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
that's okay. We're all just gonna jumble into our bread bag of bullshittery.
yeah. So, don't do drugs, buy guns. Because if you buy guns, you can get drugs for free.
If you buy guns, you can't afford drugs.
No, you can get free drugs with
Ice axes
guns.
too, because these bastards are expensive.
Yeah, I'm just here, so I'm not going to spend money on that stuff.
Well, you could be a Hergebergiator.
I won't be infantry.
Whose phone is that?
It's Marcus's.
Sorry,
Gay!
I'm also the authenticity advisor for Grenadier in Florida.
That's pretty gay, man.